So my name is Brad Butler, and I'm an ER doctor in Phoenix, and I've been an ER doctor for 23 years. Not only am I an ER doctor, but I'm also a Navy reservist. So in the Navy Reserve, I also practice emergency medicine, as well as in my civilian job, I'm an ER doctor. I've been working, like I said, for 23 years since I finished residency. I went to both college as well as medical school at the U of A. And I absolutely love my job as an ER doctor. It gives me the opportunity to take care of patients, to meet tons of people, and I absolutely love my job. Actually, I was very torn. My family, on my mom's side of the family, they're all educators, and my dad's side of the family, they're medical professionals. So I actually was torn between being a high school biology teacher and a doctor. And I actually student taught at Tucson High when I was finishing up my undergrad degree. And I realized at the time that, as I tell my teacher friends, I didn't have what it took to be a teacher. So I went to medical school instead. And I think, the type of people that go into not only medicine, but emergency medicine are people who you have to have an interest in science, and that gives you kind of a background for the healthcare field. As far as emergency medicine, it definitely draws people who tend to like a variety of things. And that's what I like about emergency medicine. I never see the same exact type of patient. You never know what's going to walk through the door. It may be a child with a fever. It may be a trauma patient who was in a car accident. And that's really what I love about medicine. But my background in education, I also actually utilize in my job, because I'm not only teaching patients, but I've also been an academic ER doctor. So I teach in the ER residency that I trained in. So my background in education actually gives me the opportunity to teach. In my job as a Navy reservist, I also get the opportunity to teach and mentor corpsmen who are the medics in the Navy, and many of them want to pursue careers eventually as a nurse or a PA or a physician, and so I get the opportunity to teach them and mentor them in their career choices as well. Absolutely, people who are interested in careers in medicine, I will say it's much more competitive now than when I went to medical school. When I applied to medical school in 1989, I was actually one of 200 people who were applying to medical school at U of A, and they took 90 people into my class. Now, the latest stats I heard were 12,000 people apply to medical school now. So I will say, anyone who's interested in medicine, you definitely have to realize it's very competitive. You need to be well-rounded. You need to get good grades. It definitely helps to have experience in the medical field, whether it's being in EMT or working in a hospital or volunteering for medical missions or humanitarian things. All that definitely helps you get into medical school. So it's definitely competitive. One thing I would like to tell my fellow Wildcats, a lot of people who are applying to medical school these days take what's called a gap year after they graduate. They choose not even to apply to medical school right after college. And I would definitely steer them away from that. Even if you don't get in right after you graduate college, I still think it's a good experience to practice going through the interview process and the application process. If you don't get in, then you can take a gap year and do other things that make yourself more competitive, whether it's getting an advanced degree, a master's degree, or doing research, or just getting more experience in the medical field. But I would definitely recommend people apply right after undergrad, although many of the advisors these days are encouraging people to take what's called a gap year. But I definitely don't like that concept of a gap year. Well, one thing I think people who are interested in the medical field should get a degree in whatever interests them. Obviously, you have to have certain pre-medical requirements that are required to go to medical school. But as far as degrees, I would say get a degree in whatever interests you. Like in my case, again, I got a degree in secondary education because I was thinking about being a high school biology teacher. And I think getting a degree in whatever interests you, I think is very very important, and not feeling like you have to get a certain degree. But as far as other experiences, whether it's at the University of Arizona or outside the U of A, I think it definitely helps to get some experience in the medical field. And I think there's lots of opportunities at the U of A to do that. For example, my daughter-in-law, who is an ER resident right now, finishing her training in emergency medicine, she was part of the student EMS program at the U of A. So she was EMT and took care of my fellow Wildcats and her fellow Wildcats as part of the EMS program at the U of A. And that was a great experience for her and helped prepare her for a career in emergency medicine. And so I think U of A gives you lots of opportunities, not only for your degree, but other outside interests as well. The other opportunity that you can have at the U of A is pursuing research, which I think is very important when you're applying to medical school as well, to have a background in research. And U of A has tons of opportunity through the medical school at the U of A to become involved with research as well in your undergrad education. U of A was a great experience for me. Not only my education at the U of A, but my outside activities, whether it was through the honoraries, from Primus to Sophos to Chain Gang to Bobcats, as well as my fraternity in Sigma Chi. All those experiences gave me the opportunity to get a great education, to be a well-rounded person, which I think has made me a better physician and person since my undergrad at the U of A. And I've continued to stay involved as well. Although my wife and I live in Phoenix, we have kept our season football tickets and basketball tickets since 1986 when we were freshmen at the U of A, and we still love going down to football games and basketball games. And the only times I've missed a homecoming was when I was deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, but I haven't missed a homecoming since 1985 when my brother was a freshman at the U of A and I was a senior in high school. Like I said, other than my times to deployment. But other than that, U of A has been a great experience. My kids were actually fourth generation Wildcats. My grandfather grew up in Bisbee with Button Salmon and played football with Button Salmon in the 20s. My earliest recollections of U of A were actually walking out on Bear Down Field when I was about 12 years old with my grandfather when he got his 50th Emeritus football blanket. So U of A runs deep in my family. It's a great school, and I highly recommend it. And I think it prepared me well, not only for pursuing a career in medicine, but continuing my career as an emergency physician and Navy reservist. So I thank the U of A and Bear Down Wildcats.